And in the meantime,
President Obama meeting with Raul Castro in Havana today. Obama's visit, the first by a U.S. president in Cuba in nearly 100 years. Kevin Cork live in Havana watching the movements there. And Kevin, good morning.
Good morning to you, Bill. 88 years to be exact, an awful long time, but times have certainly changed, and the president is hoping to usher in even more change here on the island, and it's certainly a change in the relationship between the two nations separated by a mere 90 miles. Now, hoteliers and other U.S. corporate leaders are traveling here to Cuba with the president in the hopes to maintain the diplomatic and commercial thaw that appears to be underway between these two nations, although they certainly share a great deal in common in terms of people and the community and arts and culture, even athletics. They certainly have their differences, especially as it relates to human rights. That's an issue the president is expected to address during his time here on the island. Of course, arriving Sunday at around 4:19 p.m., greeted by Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez. After that, the first family went on a walking tour of Old Havana before having a little dinner late in the evening. Now, clearly today is a much different tone. Bilateral meetings between the president and Raul Castro, state dinner, and then later on tonight, as I mentioned this afternoon, we expect to hear the two men speak about their vision of this relationship as it moves forward. I should point out the president took time, Bill, to thank his diplomatic team for helping to forge a new beginning here on the island. He did so yesterday.
More Americans coming to Cuba, more engagement with the Cuban people, civil society, faith groups, entrepreneurs, students, young people, more opportunities for the Cuban people to improve their lives. It's all happening because of you. Every single day, you're bringing the Cuban people and the American people closer together.
Definitely, it has not been all handshakes and smiles. As you've pointed out throughout the day on Fox News, there have been definitely some protests, not just here in Cuba, but also in Miami. Damas en Blancas, the women in white, as they typically do on Sundays, they've been protesting a lack of human rights and the continued arrest and imprisonment of political dissidents, something that the Florida Congress contingent, including Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, have been talking a great deal about. Listen to what she said about that this week.
What have we seen? More arrests. But nobody seems to care. Everybody's so happy. The president says this will be a fun trip. I suspect it's not a fun trip to the dissidents who every day get their heads beaten in. I think we've given up a lot and have gotten nothing in return.
Powerful words once again from Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, congressperson from Florida. Don't forget the comments by the president and Raul Castro today at 2, Bill. I'll have the coverage for you right here in Havana. Back to you.
Thank you, Kevin Cork, live in Havana on that historic trip. Thank you, Kevin.